All right. Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 122, Computer Love. And we're back. The original two, it's just us two. CB, and I'm your boy, Kaleo. Yeah, we're here. CB, what's good with you, bro?
Hey man, week has been good. I'm looking forward to the weekend. But had the day off today. Got a little bit of chilling in and got my workout in early. So, um, and my boys Liverpool took they had a game tonight and won. So that's always good.
And Quintuple starting early.
Yeah, I mean,
Rashad, welcome to the house. I feel you, man. I know that you've been stating that you need to take some time off, but it's one of those use it or lose it things, and
right.
seems like we're always get to that point at the end of the year where we're like, I got like 3 weeks left of leave, and there's only 1 week left of the year. So,
Right.
and I think you know what. So I've 1 year I remember burning through all of my leave and getting to the end of the year and having nothing. And I was determined the following year or ever again, never to fall in that line again. Never have
Mhm.
that happen again. Ever since then, I have been very meticulous about at least having 1 week. We can only last year we can carry more than 1 week. You
Right.
carry 2 weeks over. And I carry like a week and a half over. But I've always tried to at least have a week to carry over because look, I don't want to get in a pinch and not have any at all. But
Right.
then you don't want to get in a
Right.
place where you got too much and you're gonna give it back, and that's
It's just been like so different these last 2 years because
Daniel. What's up, bro?
yo, Daniel, what's up? It's been so different because since we've been working remotely, you
Yeah,
know, like
yep.
it's just different vibes. And also, at least for the department that I work in,
Right.
me and Kaleo don't give too much info about the 9 to 5 that we both share, but um at least for the way that staffing has been in my department and
Hmm.
the
Oh
seniority
yeah.
that I have,
Oh yeah.
I just, not that it's been mandated or anything. I just haven't taken time off because, I'm a manager and I got associates that are working for me. And, if there's work to be
Slight
done,
flex.
someone's got to do it,
Slight flex right there. But like, do you feel we've been working from home again for almost 2 years now,
Hmm.
and it feels like sometimes there is a little bit of um difference to the workday from working from home than going dry commuting in it. So sometimes it feels like I feel like I don't want to say I feel like I have the day off, but I'm like literally, if I can describe it, I mean I'm at home in comfortable clothing working,
Right.
and it's just like taking PTO and I'm already home. And sometimes you feel just slightly guilty.
I mean, I've literally had to, like, I tell all of my associates and I tell, my manager when I'm out, or at least over the last 18 months, 20 months. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm still probably going to be at home.
Yeah,
So if something hits the fan, just text me and I'll fire my computer up,
there you
So
go.
I
Right.
totally, like, I feel that it's one of those things to me that working from home, not having to deal with the commute, I
Yep.
think that portion of it kind of just changes up how a typical workday even feels. Because if I'm not spending 2 hours in traffic, in DC DMV traffic, it just makes the day feel more productive regardless.
Absolutely. 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 All right. Well, look. And then the thing is, we go back. We got our return to work um, date for 2022. We'll be going
Yep.
back in January. So now it's just kind of getting like reacclimated with the whole system of just getting up,
Hmm.
food meal prepping, perhaps
Right.
um, commuting. You and I even talked about parking today.
Yep.
Like like right now, there's one thing to have no options, but the issue is now we have too many options.
Right.
and
And
every
like,
option has like there's a pros and cons to everything.
yep.
Yep. Uh,
Uh, I mean,
we'll
I
talk
don't
about it.
know.
I don't know if he's yeah,
I don't know if he's qualified.
protest. Why are we protesting? What are we talking about? What are we talking
No,
about?
but at least for us, to give some props to, uh, corporate America and everything, at least in our sense. Um, I was fearing for the worst. I thought they were going to make us go back, full 5 days a
5 days,
week,
yeah, jump straight back in.
and they were like, no, we're going to do 3. And,
And go ahead, say it.
and arguably the most important topic in the history of our company, they, relaxed the dress code, which
Yeah,
is incredible, you
that's
know?
amazing. Because being there as long as I have and having to wear long sleeve collar shirts
Yep.
for majority of my tenure there, and then
Hmm.
like they slightly started changing over a course of time.
Right.
And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I started revolutionizing or changing some of the way we dressed around it, because me, I
Hmm.
switched to the office moccasins early, and I didn't wear any hard bottom shoes anymore, and then it was
Hmm.
just kind of a but now look, it's more relaxed. I'm looking forward to just a couple of days that we're in there,
Hmm.
and it's good to see some folks. Yeah, right, exactly. Well, I protest that too, but yeah. So with all that said, let's wrap.
Let's
Um,
get into it.
let's get into it. So, I figure we lead with this because I feel like most of the time we lead with stories that aren't it's just more on the negative side. But
Yeah.
Travis Hunter. If you don't know who Travis Hunter is, look him up. His name probably should be trending, or at
Hmm.
least from yesterday was. He is
Yep.
the number one. They said number one recruit, or at least number one defensive back recruit
Hmm.
in the country.
He's like the number 2 recruit overall, I think.
Yeah,
It like across all the boards, which is
right.
nuts.
And he was committed to Florida State. I
Yep.
think he's a Florida grown. He's from Florida. I think he had in a letter that he penned. He said his dream was to play for Florida State,
Yeah, that
and
was like his school growing up. You know what I mean?
and that was his thing. And he committed to them. And then yesterday, out of nowhere, he decommitted and he committed to Jackson State, which is a HBCU, in which Deion Sanders is the head coach.
Turned that
So
program around in 2 years.
yeah, they only have one loss in the matter of it, and they just won whatever championship they were in. And then I mean
Hmm.
that program is amazing. He's got both his sons down there, but now the fact that this happened, he's got the number 2 overall recruit in America decommitting from like one of the Power Five, power schools
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yep.
coming to HBCU, to a school like that down there, and he's going to play for him. This is a huge shift because you don't see this a lot. In fact,
You
you probably
haven't
don't see it at all. You've seen it
seen
in a while.
Yeah, you haven't seen um a relevant
Yeah,
high school star going to an HBCU since we're talking like Walter Payton and like Jerry
yep,
Rice. You know what I
yep,
mean? Like a
yep.
completely different era of the game
Doug
compared to.
Williams. And the
Mhm.
funny thing is, you know, you don't see it, like I say, we don't see this a lot. But back in the day before integration, this is all this is how you get HBCUs. But HBCUs were top recruited colleges for pros.
Right.
And CB just gave you names like Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Doug Williams, Michael Strahan.
I'm pretty sure if you check,
There's
those dudes are like all in the Hall of Fame.
yeah, yeah,
Some of the greatest of all time. You know what I mean?
right,
So
absolutely. And then with the integration and college football realizing that they could pull some of these big name players to these bigger schools, this is what happens. But hopefully,
Hmm.
maybe you'll get a shift here. Maybe you won't. Um, who knows? But at least this guy right here, he had the balls to do it, and no matter what, he's still the number two. So him being going to a school like this compared to Florida State,
Hmm.
he's still the number two recruit in the country.
It's
Doesn't take away from his skill set.
Oh, no, not at all. And if people were paying attention to basically everything that Dion has said since he took over there, he was talking about how the difference between a school like Jackson State and an Alabama is that Alabama, all the players that they put in are top caliber. You know what I mean? These are guys that were all 4 or 5 star recruits, For a place like Jackson State, you might have a couple of those really incredibly talented players. They have the skills to be at one of those other schools, but there might be other situations that are going on, like academics or something that's keeping them from being able to go to one of those power conference schools or whatever from the jump. Um, you have those types of situations, but this is unprecedented in today's day and age. And I think that the whole basis behind this is the fact that the players can get paid now. So
Yep,
some of the story around it is like, he doesn't have to worry about necessarily the exposure, because the way that social media works now,
yep,
the way that recruiting and everything works now, in the inner circles, this kid was already a household name. You know what
yep,
I mean? And now the general public is getting to like hear about him. You know what I
yep.
mean? But this kid, who, from what the scouts are saying, potentially could end up playing on Sundays if he keeps progressing. And at this point, he is a better DB. Like you mentioned, he's the number one DB recruit in the country. He's a better DB than he is an offensive player. But check out his highlights on YouTube. This kid can ball.
He can play both sides of the ball.
And the thing is that, and someone pointed this out. I can't remember if this was Twitter or one of my fantasy football group chats, but literally someone was like, I mean, if you're supposed to be the top DB recruit in the country, don't you think it kind of makes
Go
sense
ahead and
to
say
go
it.
and be coached by
Absolutely.
arguably the greatest DB of all
Yep,
time?
yep,
And I think
yep.
my favorite tweet that I did see about the whole situation is someone was like, well, now Florida State knows what it's like to be intercepted by Dion.
And that's where Dion went. So like it's like the perfect circle here. Like
Yep.
Dion went to Florida State and obviously was amazing there. Um, this kid committed to Florida State, but then decommitted to go to where Dion is at. And like you said, Dion probably the best DB ever played the game. And I was watching Skip and
If he's
Shannon
not
earlier.
in your conversation for that, then you don't deserve to be having that conversation,
Absolutely.
because you
Hell, if he's
you
not in
cannot
your
talk about the greatest DBs of all time and not have Dion as one of the first people that
right,
you talk
and
about.
he changed the game. Again, if Dion isn't in your maybe top five NFL players of all time,
He's at least
top
he
10.
he
He's
at
definitely
least
top
should
10.
be in like the top 10 conversation. Like,
Absolutely, absolutely.
you know,
Um,
especially for people that are at least our age
yeah,
and got to see essentially his
he
entire pro career.
he brought the swag to the game. He untucked his jerseys. He paid the fine just to do it. He played double sports.
Mhm.
He was just a monster at that position. You didn't throw to his side, and if you did, you'd never threw back. And Shannon Sharp was saying earlier today, is all it takes sometimes is to get Dion in a room with you, and he will be able to talk you into doing anything you want. So he said all it took was probably Dion to sit down with this kid and his parents, and from there he got them to decommit. So that's
Yeah.
just amazing. Shout out to that. I can't wait to see where we go from there.
I know not everyone is happy about it, but
Oh
it's
yeah, no,
also one of those things where, me personally, my stance has always been, if these kids can make some money off of their name, they should be allowed to make money off of their name.
yeah. And Dion
And
has the eye right now.
I mean, I'm not one of those college football fans that is, it's like, oh, it better be the one of these Power 5 conference schools, like that's the only play. Nah, man, like I enjoyed when Stephon Diggs decided to not go to Alabama or
Yep.
Florida or one of those and stay in state and go to Maryland. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It's
Yep.
That's the closest thing that I could think of in my lifetime because
Hmm.
Diggs was a top 5 recruit
Yep.
and Maryland wasn't getting dudes like that, especially not people to stay in state.
Right. Right.
This
Although
is
only other
this is
person I could think
huge.
of was Merriman. He stayed. He was at Douglas, and he
Hmm.
stayed to go to Maryland.
Right.
That and then, but Tory was a VA guy,
Hmm.
but still, like I said, it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Most of these guys, like the guy from VA, just committed to Alabama
Hmm.
yesterday. So typically, most of these guys, they go to these prep schools. That's just, you do maybe 1 or 2 years, and then you put that on your resume and you go kill it to combine. You're gonna get in the league.
Yeah.
So, all right. What's up next? Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh boy. Uh, Judge Michelle Odenit. Doesn't matter if I say your last name. Let's just say Judge
Yeah.
Michelle. Um, Again, it's like Belle Biv DeVoe. It's like poison here. Like, never trust a big button and smile, right? So if you
Gets me
don't
every
know,
time.
exactly. So if you don't know why we're talking about her today, let's just talk about this. She's a sitting judge, and she was recent. This week there was video footage leaked, so which is weird. I don't know who leaked this footage because it seemed to be in the privacy of her home with her sons or her family. They were watching a burglary videotape. I guess one of the, like they were robbed or something earlier in the week, and they were watching footage from it. And while they were watching footage of it, in the comfort of your own home, this is why it's dangerous here because comfort of our own home, the truth shall come out. And she dropped all kind of n words, and then even referred to the burglar as a roach. So yeah, again, had to she had to been so comfortable with the person recording that she never thought it was gonna get out. I don't know how I got out. I tried to find it, and I could not find out how it leaked. But the fact that it did get out, and she's apologizing. She's apologizing. People are calling for her to step down. She's apologizing, and up to the day, she took an unpaid leave of absence because she's so embarrassed. Um, then
No
she
kidding.
said she was suffering from, I guess, um, turmoil or whatever from the robbery. So she had took a sedative, and the sedative caused her to speak out in those racial slurs, and it was the medicine that made me a racist. Yeah, okay. I think they say most of the time, most people when you're drunk, the truth always comes out, right? One way or another.
Yep.
So, uh, yeah. So now the fact that she wants to take an unpaid leave of absence because she's so embarrassed by this. First of all, you not getting paid for however long you be out, I can give a shit less about. That's that's the small part here. You are acting judge. So now let's talk about now we can get into the deeper part of this. Let's get into some of the case. Can some of these cases be brought back up that she may have sat on? Where there may have been racial undertones, or cases going forward where you may have a police officer and a black guy or a black woman who's claiming that the officer, you know, abused them, or was just too much use of a deadly use of force or abuse of power or whatever. And you get these cases in front of her. You know, now you have a bias a biased judge. We know that she said that word. Go ahead, CB. I've said a lot.
I mean, you said a lot and you still didn't say everything that she said, you know? Like this is one of those situations where you laid it out.
She
People want to
definitely laid it
blame
into it. She said it with her chest.
people want to blame the liquor, they want to blame the drugs. This is truth serum, bro. Like all it is doing is breaking down the walls of your inner ambitions, you know? And it's like, nah, bro, you're just gonna say actually how you feel. So she is embarrassed, sure, yeah, because she got found out. Like that's it, it's always got to be embarrassing when something that you didn't want to come
Exactly.
to light comes to light. You
Exactly.
know
Are
what
you
I mean?
you embarrassed because you got caught, or you embarrassed because of what you said?
Right. Like when people in a lot of these, and I maybe I do mean to be cynical. Like
That's
in a
good,
lot
bro.
of cases, when people are apologizing for this kind of shit, the way that I take it is they're not apologizing for the act. They're apologizing that they got caught. You know what I mean? Like that's actually who this woman is apparently. And like when it comes to circumstance of, you're watching video of a home robbery or whatever, still doesn't, mean that you gotta bring race into it and all of those kinds of things. But it's just it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing
Yeah.
for her. Yeah, and it's one of those things where I think that you're right. There's potential for, I guess any of those old cases. I don't know how that works,
Right.
but um I mean, you have
And,
someone who doesn't like how a verdict went down.
right. And I'm gonna say this, like, I and respect is probably the wrong word to use in this case, but maybe commend. It's kind of commendable to the out to for me for the outright racists. At least you know who these people are. They're not afraid to be themselves. They are racist. They want you to know. They're not hiding because at least you can see it coming from a mile away, right? Like Chris Rock on his own jokes, I should have seen it coming.
Yeah.
You can see that coming from a mile away. But it's the ones, it's the ones like this where, oh, you caught me in a vulnerable moment and I'm gonna just spew out everything that I had to say.
Hmm.
Right? And she's not the only one, but she's one. As a judge, you ought to know video. Come on now, you're on camera. I, there's the cloud. There's
Yeah.
anything that you put on camera. Just think that it could get out there. You just got to be careful. But that's the
And
thing.
like to I'm just gonna quickly tie it into another recent situation. Um she does have a certain privilege working for her, right? And we recently saw in the NFL um people having the audacity to use their work emails to say racist things and just terrible stuff, right? And it's like the audacity,
Right.
because why would they ever get in trouble for
Oh
doing
man.
anything like this? Like
Exactly.
for her, she might not even be thinking about like anything wrong happening, even if a video did get out. So I don't know this lady, but I do know that I wouldn't want to be a judge and be a like now a known racist. Like I don't see
Quit.
how they really allow you to keep your job.
Exactly. Quitapo. This guy. This guy. Yeah, man. It's just, and again, she's not the only one that hides behind one the privilege or hides behind the doors of the comfort of their own home.
Hmm.
It could be anybody, people that you and I talk to every day or hang out with every day. That just go home and feel these ways about other people, and it doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily have to be white to black. It could be black to white. Like, I mean, these things happen, and it's just one of those things where, you know, if this is your true side, then just let it show. I mean, come on now, just let wear your scars.
There's enough. There is more than enough racism and that shit in the world. Like,
Yeah. And this one it is sitting. She said it has a seat of power, making decisions.
and
So
she's certainly
yes,
not the most powerful one. Better believe that shit.
oh yeah, no. So it's definitely time for her to step down. I would say
She's
step
she's
down.
definitely doing what she can to try to save her job
Yep.
because she's
Because
trying to keep those paychecks coming in.
maybe something else will happen between now and the time she comes back from her leave of absence that will kind of just sweep this under the rug. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But
We'll have to
it's
see.
all strategy. Yeah, it's, you know. Let's see we go. So Lewis Hamilton. Well, let me get there. Sir Lewis Hamilton. He was knighted a couple days ago, and this is just a really good, really good story, and it's a high honor. The guy Lewis is 36, and if you don't know who Lewis Hamilton is, he is revolutionizing the sport of Formula One racing.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it. He hasn't been doing it that long, and which is scary because this guy is like DJ Khaled song. All he does is win, 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 and like it's one of those things where I wasn't into golf. I didn't care anything about golf. Maybe putt putt, but then when you see Tiger out there, he's younger. I mean, not just the skin color, but he's younger. He's not your typical golfer back in the early '80s, late '90s kind of thing. Like he's new, he's fresh, and he's winning, and he's younger, and he's just making the sport exciting. Same thing that Venus and Serena did for tennis. Like it just gave it a little bit of style, a little swag. I mean, Andre Agassi had a lot of swag. He had all the beautiful girls. I think Brooke Shields was the main one. He had a shoe deal. He had the long flowing hair, and then when you realize, he aged really quickly, and that long flowing hair went to just a patch. But he was still dominating the game. But Tiger, but he did the golf. Venus Serena did for tennis. Lewis Hamilton is doing for Formula One racing, and the guy, he just wins. Literally, he just wins. And this past weekend, he had a race, and it's almost like they had to figure out a way to sabotage his race so he could not win. And that's exactly what happened. He was
That's
winning.
how it felt.
He was winning his race, and then it was an accident. And I don't know much rules about Formula One nor NASCAR accident rules. I know most of the time they wave the flag. Sometimes they call you into the pit, depending on how bad the accident is, but they kind of reset the race. And in this case, he was winning. They reset the race, and I guess he took a bad position, and he could never recover from where the restart of the race was at.
Yeah. So my understanding of what happened was, so there was that crash that you mentioned, like with 5 laps or something. It was right at the end, and Hamilton had actually built up a lead. He had like lapped 5 cars or something like that.
Yep.
So on the restart, the dude that was in second, who ultimately ended up winning, his last name starts with a V, and I figure if
Yeah, I
I say
saw
it,
it.
I'm
I
gonna
didn't write it down.
completely
Yeah.
butcher it. But they at first said that they weren't going to allow them to like basically keep the lap cars going around. So he would have actually still had like cars that this dude would need to work through, even though he was in second place. He still had 5 cars in between. And by them then reversing that decision, the dude then got to be like in second position next to him, and between him and his team, they were able to basically get the job done within those last couple of laps.
Yeah,
It was
it
super
was.
exciting.
Yeah.
um I didn't watch. I'm not like a F1 person like that. It's one of those things where over the years it's always been checking to be like, oh, Lewis Hamilton won again.
Yep.
uh
Yep.
but I do have some buddies that are F1 heads, and they were acting like this was the Super Bowl or
Yeah.
something. So I figure it had to be something pretty crazy.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things where you, and also, and I think, and with motocross and supercross, what's my guy's name? Is escaping right now. There's a black dirt bike rider.
Okay.
And he was just amazing. Like he was killing the game, and then he ended up retiring. But so like this, it's like with this. Like I've always wanted to go to the race in Baltimore when they do the Formula through the streets when they do that
That
Formula One
shit's crazy.
race. I mean, just imagine like the high speeds that these cars get up to. and like there's not much protection in these cars compared to a NASCAR, which they still get up to high speeds, but at least there's a roof, there's a cage, and everything. This the Formula Ones. I mean, your helmets are sticking out of the top of the car,
Yeah.
and absolutely dangerous. But I just think that um, he's going to get a lot of eyes. More people are catching on to what he's been doing. But yeah, he was not. He was knighted. The whole
And
point
that's
of
an
me bringing this up.
incredible honor. Like to
That's a
be knighted, they said he was the fourth Formula One driver to ever be knighted, and the only one who was still active when it happened. So it just shows the impact that this guy has had. That's really that's the main thing to take away from me.
James Bubba Stewart, dirt bike rider. Bubba. Okay.
Bubba.
And I've seen him race. They do the motocross, Budds Creek once a year, and I've gone once, and I've seen him in the top three guys at the time race.
That's pretty dope.
But yeah, he was knighted. That's it's a great story. The only other person I remember I've ever paid attention to get knighted was Sir Elton John. That's the one people always say. But I mean, people get knighted. I don't know how often they do it, or what the standards are. But
I think they just make up the standards. Like
yeah,
they can just
exactly.
knight kind of whoever they want.
Yeah, and
Um,
you can't go wrong with this guy. Apparently, I mean,
no,
so
certainly not.
he's not. He's not signed to Jumpman. This the NASCAR driver. That just signed with Jumpman.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but
I
he was definitely in the news last year. We remember
yeah.
that.
Yep, with the noose pulley. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh boy. All right. And here's the story everybody's been waiting for right here. The TNRH story of the week. Yeah. So as we're upon the holiday season, and since it's just the DMV guys in here tonight, this story hits close to home because this story actually happened in the DMV area, the Fort Washington, Maryland area, which is probably it's very
That
close
shit's
to where
not
I'm at
far
now.
away.
It's not far away. Everybody knows the Fort
It's not
Washington is.
far away.
It's not far away at all. So, and with the holiday seasons around, this is not the actual picture. I could have. I was debating about putting the guy's name out there and then showing the actual picture, but I didn't. I just Googled FedEx and packages, and this is the one I use. So, anyways, we know it's the holiday season, and we know deliveries are up. And this is the time of year where drivers are probably overworked, but they're getting hella overtime and they get hella paid. Because I used to work for UPS, I know. So this guy, he's a young guy, he was delivering a package.
Gotta
And
let
this
him
one
know.
I don't get either, because now with Ring doorbells, you would think people would be more conscious of how they deliver your package. This guy he didn't even walk all the way to the step. he was probably a couple feet away from the bottom step and chucked the package up to the door, and the package ended up rolling back down the steps, and he just kept going, got in the car. Anyways, this ended up on the news because of the Ring doorbell, and literally less than a day, the driver lost his job. Now, the homeowner, they interviewed him, and he's like, look, the last thing I want is this young guy, he lose his job. But there's something just has to be done because I'm sure I'm not the only one this happens. And then the young guy's excuse was, I've made over 1,000 deliveries within the last couple of weeks, and then you kind of rush through delivery sometimes, and this is what happens, and blah blah blah. Bottom line is, he was definitely wrong, and I'm sure FedEx and UPS and all those delivery services take enough hits throughout the year, especially right now when packages come. They don't have to pay for people's shit, and they let them go. So I'm sure we all have had a package thrown at our door, and we probably felt pissed like the homeowner did, and I would do the same thing. Go ahead, CB.
This one it's disheartening because it's not the only one of these stories that has made national news recently. You know what I mean? I think is that there's that FedEx driver out in Alabama that was tossing packages in the woods or whatever. But the fact that this one hits close to home, and the young guy pretty much owned up to it.
Yep.
He was he didn't really make any excuses for it. Um, and I appreciate that the homeowner, the stance that they took, because they did say, didn't want the guy really to lose his job. But it is one of those things that you don't want your packages, especially when there is breakables, electronics in there, because supposedly there was what, a Nintendo Wii, and then like some dolls or something like that, like gifts, and the last thing we want is the baby's Christmas to get messed up because the
Right.
delivery people are playing Madden with your packages. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So
Yep.
um, it's one of those things that, like, when you get something delivered, you do expect it to show up in an acceptable condition.
Yep.
I mean, between just me, you, and E, we've bought so many shoes that have been delivered. We all have had a pair where the box shows up and it is fucked up. And we're just like, yo, what happened?
Yep.
Were they playing hacky sack with this shit?
Exactly.
Like, what is going on?
Look, let me tell you, when the box is like that, it's like missing the previews to a movie. It is. You're not there just for the. You're not.
Hmm.
There's other things, but besides the movie that you want to experience, and
Hmm.
you want to experience a nice crisp box especially when it
Part of the
comes to your shoes.
presentation.
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, I mean, just throw the whole button. I ain't gonna throw the box away, but still, yeah. Moral of the story is, and which is weird, the guy did his interview in the FedEx uniform, knowing he was already
Yeah.
terminated. That was a little weird.
I mean,
But yeah, look, more of the story. Look, don't throw packages.
mhm.
Um,
And
and he
also
won't be
be
the last
courteous
one.
to your delivery people, just because
Exactly.
it's the
Yeah,
same
they
thing.
out here
Be
working.
courteous to your waiters. Be courteous to the people that
Yeah,
are handling your food. Be courteous to the people, especially if you order a lot of shit. Like
like Amazon.
The
Oh,
DHL driver for my neighborhood. I've spoken to him personally more than once. Like,
he only comes to your house.
you know what I mean? So
Right.
be nice to these people, especially during, this time of year. They got more stress too. Yeah, you would expect they should be making more money as well, but that should be
The
the
hell's a
case.
crisp box? Uh, come on now, Chuck Claggett. A crisp box is one that is perfect all the way around. There's no dents. There's no nothing. You know what a crisp box is, and just
Sheesh.
yeah, you want to be able to stack your shoes perfectly without anything bending. So
Right.
one of
Yep.
those things. Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, I can't believe this shit's still happening here. So there was a story. There's always a story. Um, and I got it from Shade Room. So there was a woman who was on a online dating service, and then we're going to retouch this. We're going to dive a little deeper into the story, but we'll just do the surface level stuff. We'll talk about just this story right now.
Yeah.
But it was a woman. She was online dating service, which the stats say that during the pandemic, online dating skyrocketed because a lot of people were stuck in the house, lonely, maybe not even lonely, but they wanted to get on, online and meet people and, you know, do the online dating thing. So this is what she did. She got online and she met someone, and they talked for, I think she said, up to like 3 months, almost every day. She learned a lot about this guy. He was a cell phone salesman or something like that. And he worked in different parts of the world sometimes because he was lead sales, and he would go help open up stores in different branches. And so he was in Dubai working at the cell phone store in Dubai. And, he pretty much they got over there, and he told her, I guess after they got some familiarity with each other, that someone stole his wallet. It has passport in it, his ID, everything, and he was unable to get back to the States. So, but along the way before that, like, he had started asking her for money I guess, little small things, but it was never cash. She would always have her send it via gift cards. So eBay gift cards, blah blah blah. Whatever the gift card was, he told her he could take it and he could cash it in there wherever he was for cash. So she never had to send cash. She could just use it gift card format and he could do it that way. Now, that never rung a bell. Where have you ever seen you can trade in an Applebee's $25 gift card and get cash for it?
That is like one of the number one like scams.
Scams, yeah. And by me working retail a lot, yeah, gift cards are huge for scams. Okay, let me continue.
Yep.
So he had started asking for money. But anyways, the bigger part of the story was he was trapped over in Dubai and his time was up. He was ready to come home. It was time for him to come home. And he just didn't have a way back home. So she ended up over the course sending like $7,000. She didn't purchase, first of all, she didn't purchase the plane ticket for him. She sent the money again via gift cards so he could purchase his own plane ticket back home. And like none of these, none of these red flags started coming up. Like
I've
nothing.
never sent money
Nothing.
to someone that I don't know like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
I'm
that
like,
I've not met in person.
and
You know?
like, okay, there's more to the story, which will bring up more questions. So she sent the money for the plane tickets, and he was supposed to be back within a week. So she communicated with him, I guess, a couple days before he was supposed to hop on his plane and arrive back home. And then she reached out to him again a day after he was supposed to arrive. And I guess it was still via the dating app or text and whatever it was. He never responded. And then when she got on the website, his profile was gone. Vamoose. Zippo. Out of here. No more. This guy's gone. So, okay. So then from there, I guess she found, I guess he was posting pictures, like different pictures of, and then he posted one picture of why he was over there, like he was in the hospital sick. This is how he got her to send him some money the first time. But if you look at this picture, it is horribly photoshopped. This guy's face on a body in a hospital bed.
That picture looked like if someone added calves to a picture of me.
Oh my! And then
You know,
the
it's not
reporter's
real.
like, "This doesn't look real. This looks real to you." She's like, "Well, yeah, no,
It
maybe
was
you're
like
right."
they took a stock photo from Google and just copy pasted in paint like this dude's face on it. Like,
This is
damn, girl.
horrible. This is horrible. It's almost equivalent of you copying and pasting me or CB's face on one another and saying we're sick right now. Like, what? Like, this never rang a bell. And she's still sending money along the way. But, anyways, so she found a profile online with the guy's pictures or pictures of the person she thought she was talking to. And she reached out to that person. They read the message, but I don't think they ever responded. But police are like, we can't arrest this guy because we don't know if it's him. So now you're in the catfishing business here. You got scammed, and now you've realized you got catfish. Now, we are in
She got manti tail.
2021 going into 2022. There has been a show on MTV for about 8 to 10 years now called Catfish that talks about this shit. How are you still falling for the old banana in the tailpipe? How is this still happening? This is my main question, CB. How in the fuck is this still happening? Are you that lonely to where you overlook all the red flags?
I think that it's tough. Obviously, you've been out of the game for some time. You and the missus have some time in. But nowadays, especially with the pandemic, it's given people a reason to still not actually meet up. Like they can still communicate and all that, but they're not actually going to, um, actually see each other in person or whatever. People doing Zoom dates and things like that, or you know. But there was
I'm still
enough.
believing.
Yeah. The funny thing about all of this, and like I feel terrible for this lady, but like where what dating service do I need to sign up for? Because ladies, I'm single. Which one of y'all are just gonna give me 7 grand for shits and giggles? Like
Right.
all I'm
Or buy
saying,
me cool gray 11s.
yeah, right, yeah, some cool gray 11s for over $1,000, which is completely unnecessary. If you guys have seen that one going around the internet, but like in this type of situation, as an interested party, in with this other party that you have not actually confirmed that they're real or not, like you wouldn't think that they would have friends or family members that they might have known for years, or if they had some issue being overseas for work, that their job would actually do something to get them over. Like, not only are there the red flags just from the dude's actions, and shit, it could be a lady. It could be some chick behind the screen,
Absolutely.
catfishing, because that's the whole point. You have no idea who this person is. And it just, like, with social media, with all of this, it's just become more prevalent. And I mean, it's sad because
Yeah,
I'm the exact opposite. I've been on less dates since the pandemic started compared to these people. Why? Because if I don't intend to actually meet you in person, why am I going to actually start up these
absolutely.
conversations? You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
and during the pandemic, there's been a lot of instances where I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, I feel bad for this lady, but nah,
Do
man,
you?
like you gotta be smarter than this, babe. Like, come on, girl,
Like you won't give the homeless guy you see almost every day on the corner asking for change. You won't
bruh.
give him 35 cents.
Because he
Like
looked cute on his Instagram. Like, what the fuck?
exactly, but you gotta send over $7,000 to. Oh my gosh, this is. She's not the only one.
That's an expensive lesson to learn. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
she's not the only one. But damn it, how is this shit still happening?
Yeah.
There's a whole show about this shit.
We
All
have
kinds
been
of race.
making jokes about a man named Manti Teo for a decade.
Exactly.
For a
Catfished
decade.
himself.
People reported when he got into the NFL and got a real life girlfriend. That was news because he had been catfished in college. Like, golly,
Right.
like,
This is,
come on, man.
I'm gonna
The,
the
the thirst
original
shouldn't be that real.
catfish.
It
You know
shouldn't
what?
be that real.
Right. You know when the original catfish happened? The original catfish happened, and I think everybody may have done it. Is when you're back in elementary school or middle school, and you're like, I got a girlfriend or I got a boyfriend. He just don't go to the school.
Yeah.
That was the first catfish. You not catfishing anybody but yourself. And this is ridiculous.
And that shit, bro, I still remember instances of people saying that kind of stuff. Like, it
This
sticks
is
with you because you're sitting there and you're just like, no, you're not. I don't believe you. Like,
this
I
is
don't
horrible.
believe.
This is horrible. This is. I remember going skating with. I'm not gonna skating with a close friend of mine during back in like middle school, and the whole night, this person swore up and down his girlfriend was going to show up so I can finally meet her. First of all, she went to another school, but she was going to show up. And the whole night, no one showed up. No one.
Which,
So
if they were in a real relationship, is grounds for breaking up.
like they just stood me up. Like, come
Right.
on, this is ridiculous. But yeah, I don't understand where again how the catfishing still happens. I guess people are desperate. People
Yeah.
need, if you don't get the right attention and you start getting that attention,
Mhm.
you're desperate to keep it, I guess. So this
People
is
love
this
attention, bro. Like, even people that say that they don't like attention, you like attention if it's from the right person or from like the right thing, because
Right,
pets give
right,
attention to, and some
right.
people love that shit.
And
So,
exactly. And then that's
like,
just Twitter. It's all about attention. Social
mhm,
media. Like Kevin Durant loves attention.
you
And
better
it's
believe if I was a multi-million dollar, still relatively young, athletic superstar, you better
yeah.
believe Chris CB. I want more of that shit. Like, give me more of it.
Feed my
You know
ego
what I
more.
mean? I'm
Yeah,
not. I'm not hiding behind the mask. Like, yo, I
exactly.
want to be a brand. Let me be a brand.
Exactly. Well, good transition. Speaking of feeding and feeding my ego more, feeding more. Look, this weekend, grab yourself a DC Shop High. Use our code WRIC10, save 10%. DC Shop High. There it is right there. I haven't had one in a couple weeks. This might be the weekend to go to. But yeah, there's your steak and cheese, there's your salmon pesto, there's your sausage and pepperoni. And then look, there's dessert. If you want dessert, or if you want something that's not Chicago deep dish, at the flats. Try them out. They're amazing. Use our code again. WRC10, 10% off. We are something else. Um, yeah, so that's what we got ready. What's relationship? And this is very well look. This very well could be true. Um, obviously there is no. Is it just E tonight? The is it just E is it just me or CB? Or did E get the nights mixed up for us going live and us recording? Because we're recording the show tomorrow.
Oh,
Uh,
can't wait for that show either.
can't wait for that. But here we go. We're back. All right, CB. We got this thing called Soul Swap. What we got for Soul Swap?
So, as most of the fam knows at this point, Soul Swap is our segment where we give you a piece of news, things that are going on within the sneaker industry that we think the homies should know about. So, big news recently is Nike acquired an NFT making company, Artifact, um, basically to jump into the metaverse and start making NFTs, virtual sneakers, those kinds of things. Um, we've seen, especially during the pandemic,
Yep.
uh, this stuff just skyrocket in terms of interest, in terms of value. There's a lot of people that really believe that sometime in the near future, Ready Player One is going to be like real life shit, and we're going to be able to all like these we're going to have content that lives online but is ours, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's this is huge. Adidas recently had a similar announcement where they jumping into the NFT world and everything like that. So this is big news because it just kind of signals where the industry thinks that it's going, which is virtual, which is the NFTs and things like that. So, um, what do you think about this stuff, Kaleo? Because I
So,
mean, I don't think either me or you have bought any NFTs. I don't think me or you have changed our profile picture to a one of one monkey picture. You
no,
know what I
no.
mean?
So
But we do love sneakers.
real quick,
So
just break down just for the simplest form. Break down NFTs real quick
mhm.
for people who don't know, and then I'll feed into what my response is.
Sure. So NFTs, it's a acronym for non-fungible token. Um, basically, it is a unique item or a limited item that is created and is virtual. Um, and it's one of you can think about it like a product that they will never make any more of. So the value is in the scarcity. So a
Yep.
lot of these things are very unique, and so it is a way for a lot of artists and stuff too to
Yep.
now start making money in a different way,
Yep.
because you have a different way to actually get your workout. But
Yeah.
this is all on the internet. This is all virtual. This is not real. Like, this is not a tangible
Right.
thing.
Right.
So I'm not going to say that these aren't real, because they exist online.
Yeah.
But you buy one of these Nike Dunk NFTs, say that that's what is in the future, you're not getting a pair of dunks sent to your house. You have either a picture, or if at some point, people have virtual avatars and things like that, that they can dress them up with all this stuff.
Yep.
That could be the
It's
future.
like your
But
creator player. It's
right.
your assets to a creator player.
Yep.
Um, and people are dropping unique albums through
Hmm.
NFTs now. Like,
Yep.
one of ones. Like, I'm gonna drop an album through NFTs, and like you can only get it virtual. Like
And
this, I
it's
mean,
gonna
it
and
is.
it's like limited to however many copies.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's like, it's not the same as, um us going to a record store and them having a set number of these records that are never going to get made again. It's a little bit different than that,
Yep.
because this is
Yep.
it's virtual. There aren't re-releases technically, and things like that. So it a lot of the allure is in the collectability, and kind of the uniqueness of
Yep.
a lot of the products and things like that.
Yep. And I will say, I mean, this Ready Player One thing is getting to the point where it's so scary that it's becoming somewhat of reality.
We're
Because
seeing it in
CB and
our
I,
lifetime, bro.
CB
Shit is
and
wild.
I, we were gifted something that puts us in the realm. It gets us in the conversation piece of perhaps getting involved with NFTs.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. And to the point where I wouldn't mind. I mean, and it's been a conversation. Somebody mentioned to me that you could probably put the podcast inside of this realm
Right.
and create a special version of it there. So it's just pretty creative. But yeah, look, Nike smart. To end the roundabout way to answer your question, Nike is smart. And I went to a concert as well on one of these things. It's amazing. But Nike smart. They any way they can make money, or they see where things are going. People are buying dunks in the real world left and right.
Hmm.
Why not create a digital thing? Because there are certain people who love digital content,
Hmm.
who are engulfed in this world. Why
It's only
not?
gotten bigger since we've
Why
been
not?
mostly from home, you
Yeah.
know?
Why? Exactly. Why not? So it's smart. And what do they have to lose?
Right.
So
And like we said,
exactly.
they're not the only major shoe
Exactly.
brand.
They're not the only ones.
Adidas made an announcement too. Those are the top two that most people look at. So hey, it makes
Yep.
sense.
Yep. All right. What's that copper drop, CV?
So you guys may remember a few months ago, or maybe it wasn't a few months, maybe it was like a month ago. We talked about Adidas was releasing a HUNMD collab with Billionaire Boys Club. So they did the gray astronaut, which I actually copped via confirmed. They are doing another drop. These joints are sick. Another um, Billionaire Boys Club collab. Um, Obviously with the I don't know if it's a fox or a dog. I don't know what the
It's a
logo is.
fox. It's a fox.
Um, but it's amazing. Differences with this is it's obviously a green canvas compared to the gray. It's I want to say it's prime knit upper. But
Gotta be.
these joints are dope. They're going to be 220, similar as the other ones. They're dropping via confirmed on December 21st. So if you all you got to do is download the app and you can enter into the draw form. But I really liked the astronaut ones. And I think these are arguably hotter. So I was the only one a few weeks ago
Yep, this is
that
true.
said that the other ones were a cop. So if I think that these ones might even be better, these are definitely a cop. So I will be attempting. I've entered into the raffle. Kalea, what about you?
Yeah, these are definitely a cop, and I realized the issue with the other ones. I didn't like the color because it's still the same material,
Right.
just a different color, and these stand out to me more. I didn't just something. It was an odd gray that just didn't resonate with me. And then what was the astronaut white or black?
I think it was also black. But
Okay,
you know,
yeah. But you know these stand out right there, right up my alley for type
you
of sneaker I would
generally
wear.
like the more color. You
Yeah,
like more colorful sneakers
yeah,
in general. Like I
exactly.
don't.
Exactly.
I think between me, you, and E, I might own more like monochromatic, just like all whites or all blacks or something like that than anybody else. Because you know that's just how it goes.
Exactly. Well, well, I got 3 pair over here waiting for you. So there you go.
Yep.
But yeah, no, these are dope. I think the colorway is again it just stands out, pops a little bit more. But it just for the material, I think any color probably would than what the previous colorway
Hmm.
accents it a whole lot better.
Yeah, I feel
All
you.
right. Okay, so shoe and tell. We are here. I can go first. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna dig in the crates. Um, vintage
I
Nike
know people
box.
remember that box.
Vintage, and then figure out how old it is because it's a size 11. When's the last time you see me wear 11? So these are just ones that I kept because they were, yeah, they needed to be in a collection still.
Oh yeah,
So we got the
one of my
Son of
favorites of
Gloves.
all time.
Yeah, yep. The Son of Gloves. This is when the original gloves I always wanted, couldn't get, but when they did the Son of Gloves, these became more accessible. And the
Mhm.
difference was obviously it didn't have.
Yeah.
It became more of a team atmosphere shoe, but it still had to peel down like everybody wanted. This was the first shoe, this model, the glove slash Son of Glove, when Nike started playing around with the idea of doing the skin.
You know I
Just
fucking love that shit.
have the inner booty come out, and then you could because the Pippin was the one that did it.
Hmm.
But yeah, so patent leather. It's so old you can see that the I don't know how much patent or leather is left in that. But yeah, it's I got these. I remember the day I got them. It was after we got up, and you can see, look, the sole is still. Um, we
Got some
got
good
them. I think
traction on there still.
the day after Christmas. Um, Me and my cousins and my grandmother always go like to Annapolis Mall or whatever. We take our Christmas money that she'd give us, and we go shopping and go crazy with it. And I
Hmm.
remember I got those the day after Christmas. So Son of Gloves.
Can't go wrong with those.
Yeah, nope, not at
Um,
all.
and shout out to Gary Payton the second.
Oh my God, homeboy is
Um,
balling.
he is
Mr.
balling.
Sean
And
Xavier, what's good, bro?
yo, Sean. And I want to know if his dad is a little jealous because his son can fucking dunk.
He got ups. My
Like he
man has ups.
I don't know how many dunks Gary Payton Sr. has to his name, but his son, he's already got some bodies on the belt at this
That's not a bad show to have. Father and son duos.
point.
You know,
Yeah,
where who's better, and it doesn't have to just stay in the realm of sports. It can go to
sure.
music too,
Oh, for sure.
and actors too, like
Yep.
that. Father and son combo, or mother and daughter. I mean, there's some mother and daughters out there too.
Yeah.
Um, where is the second generation better than the first? Like, does that carry on well? I know one for sure that well, it's a couple because if the father is an innovator or a different,
Mhm.
all time great or goat of that sport, and the sons typically try to follow in that footsteps and never works out. I will give you one example. I'll go with Walter Payton. Sweetness was amazing.
Mhm.
Jarrett never got there. He got a chance in the league, but we also know running back is a hard position to play.
For sure.
So I'll just leave it at that because I'm sure there's probably another icon living where the seeds just didn't quite equal up to Pops.
And it's like at least, and obviously I'll get into my sneakers here in a second, but you see
Tiger
the
Son.
instances like Del Curry, for example.
Oh
Del
my
Curry
god.
was a very good
Yeah,
NBA player, but he
very
was
good.
not a superstar. Curry he exceeded him early in his career in terms of being better than his pops. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like I can't think of an instance, and I'm trying to think of other sports too, where it was legitimately a superstar parent, and then their kid followed up and was like even better. Like it just doesn't
It
really
just doesn't. Yeah,
happen. You have like the good or like very serviceable, player, and
yeah,
then they have kids that they surpass them, but it doesn't seem to work out. Like MJ's kids. Um,
yeah.
it just doesn't.
Like
That
Ken
bar is
Griffey.
so high.
Yeah, like Ken Griffey Sr. was a good baseball player,
Right.
but Ken Griffey Jr. is a goat in baseball.
Right. Yeah. Like,
Um, it would almost have to be another sport. Like Ken Norton Sr. was a great boxer.
mhm,
Ken Norton Jr. was
a great
a
football
great
player.
football player.
Yeah.
So Grant Hill and Calvin Hill.
Hmm.
Calvin Hill was a great tight end for the Cowboys.
Yep.
Um, Grant Hill was, we could put great because he was a Duke
Yeah.
great. He's a
I mean,
great
he's
basketball
an
player.
Olympic champion.
Yeah, there you go. So
You know.
that's a good one. Let's figure that out. Let's parents
Yeah.
when and like Sean and Xavier said, Tiger's son against. I mean, look, Tiger. We talked about how great in game shifting Tiger is/was more so on the was side. His son, I can't think of his name right now, has major footsteps to follow. And Bronny, come on now,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Bryce.
Yep.
It's not the world is already looking at you, and it's not easy.
Like you had like Archie Manning, who was
Oh
good. He was
yeah,
good, but he wasn't the same as either of his two sons. Um, and also, and this is only mostly as a joke. But like, what about like Tom Hanks? He's got two sons, and they're completely different. You know what I
Let's go.
mean?
Chet and Colin.
And I saw some tweet, and I will get to my shoes, I promise. But
Mhm.
literally, someone it was like some psychiatrist or whatever. She had tweeted out something, and it was like some specific name for whatever this is. Like the the Hanks boys would be a great study in whatever this thing is, because obviously, if you name someone Colin, you're gonna get a Colin, and if you name someone Chet, you're gonna get a Chet. And then they just posted pictures of them, and it's like, God damn it, you can guess which one is which. Like,
Yeah. Ah, that's
this
funny.
is what
Yeah,
it is.
and they both
Um,
stand out. Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. But okay, on to shoes. So these
Ooh.
have not dropped in the States yet. There is a sneakers drop for this at the
Oh,
later in the month,
for
but
getting
these already dropped in the
international.
UK.
Getting
So
international. Oh.
so if you can
What?
see,
Yeah, we can see. There
you
you
know.
go. There it is, right there. Yep.
So Liverpool is
Yep.
doing a Hirachi. And so this is like a classic Liverpool design, this checkerboard.
That's dope.
Um, they actually remind me of
Terps.
the Maryland colors. Um, and they remind me of a McDonald's uniform. So um yeah, but Hirachis are some of the most comfortable shoes that you can buy. I'm a huge Liverpool fan, as anyone who has watched the show knows. I wear tons of Liverpool gear all the time. But something that's cool
All
about
right, bro. Look,
how
we'll see you tomorrow, B.
peace, like something that's cool about what they did with these is that there's really no Liverpool branding on here, right? They just have the like
That's
this
crazy.
checkerboard design, but this stuff is Velcro, and
All,
so
did it
you
come with alternate
have
laces?
you have some exchange, like you can, so
Sheesh.
you can change like the joints on the back. So the YNWA for You'll Never Walk Alone. So you can just see the two different ones. So it comes with the Nike stuff. You can swap it out for the Liverpool tag. Air Hirachi, you can swap it out for the Liverpool Liverbird.
Jesus.
So, but
Jesus.
Hirachis, they're some of the most comfortable shoes on the planet.
I would agree.
You can't go wrong with those. And I'm a huge Liverpool fan. So what would I do when I'm told that they have a shoe? I'm gonna buy it. Like, it just is what it is. When the Caps won the Stanley Cup a few
Oh
years
yeah,
ago,
you got them.
Adidas did a special shoe for them. You better believe that's how I celebrated. I bought that shoe and I
They
have it
came
in
to
the
the
collection.
office.
Um, we did an unboxing at the
They came to
office,
the
I'm pretty
office. Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Um, so you're not going to have my favorite football team, soccer team on the planet release a Hirachi and me not buy it, even if the color scheme or whatever isn't something that I might wear every day.
Yep.
I'm going to add something like this to my collection. That's just what I do.
Yep. Yep. Look, we got a few folks in here tonight. I want to appreciate everybody for watching. Like, subscribe to the episode. Like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We got a couple episodes that I gotta put up because we're a little bit behind. But next week we are on. Did we say Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we had
think
to be
it's
Tuesday
Tuesday.
because Wednesday got something to do. So
Yeah.
Tuesday we are on for our Christmas holiday episode next Tuesday. So literally a couple of days. It'll fly by. We'll be on Tuesday. I'm assuming 9:30, and I'm assuming E will be here. But then also we are filming Soul Tales tomorrow. Top 5 sneakers
Of the year.
This is all sneaker talk. We're filming it. It's not gonna be live. We're gonna film it and we're gonna put it out most likely December 30th or 31st. End of the year wrap up.
Yep.
So next week on Tuesday, then the following week we'll be on for our top 5 albums of the year. This is the big show, the big wrap up episode. We always talk albums, and it's hard as shit this year because literally Dr. Dre just dropped an EP for Grand Theft Auto that is amazing.
And we should tell people that our old buddy Superfly will be joining
Superfly
us
will be back for the top 5
for
albums
the
of
top
year.
5 album show. We were like, hey, bro, you want to do some homework?
Exactly. And then after that, like, I don't know if he took a shot. He was like, he posted like some Bitcoin stuff. It says the only top 5 I'm dropping next year. Only top 5 list I'm dropping next year. Shout out to Superfly. But yeah, so these are the next big 3 things for us. Mm-hmm. Tuesday next week. Then the following week is the top 5 albums. This is how we end out the year.
Yep.
And then we got Soul Tales, which would be the 30th or 31st.
Yep.
But yeah, that was top 5 sneakers of the year. So
yep.
If you want to know if you copped some of the hottest sneakers of the year, or if they made our list, make sure you chime into that. But that's it. Look, man, that's all I got. It was a great show.
Yeah.
It felt good chopping up with the originals tonight. But shout out to E wherever he is.
Hopefully he's staying warm in the West Coast. They get to feel what it's like to have 50-degree, 40-degree weather in December.
Cali is going through it.
Yeah.
It's like it's literally the purge out there right now. So stay safe if you're in Cali. Other than that, look, we are something else. Computer love.
Peace.
Peace.